Jansen Harris here with the Just Good Network. We are sponsored by Your Future Media. For all of media purposes, visit Your Future Media. Today, I got in Antoine Smitty sports blogger. Go follow him, Smitty Sports Machine. Check the podcast out on Spotify, the YouTube channel, Smitty Sports Machine, Facebook, The Sports Machine. Go check him out. Twitter at FatBoySlim_21. What's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Chilling. Thanks for joining me. Let's talk a little bit about Matt Ryan. He was sacked 42 times last year. Before that, 48 times. Before that, 41 times. The last 3 seasons, they missed the playoffs. And the Falcons, their pressure the last 3 years, that hasn't been good. Which one is a bigger need heading into the draft? Is it offensive line or defensive line?
I've said this 1,000 times. The way they're going to be building, on offense, I think offensive line is key. Defensive line, you can find that in free agency. Even though, they don't have no money under the cap, I think they will find a way to get some. You have, defensive tackles that fit their need on the other side of the ball, but a talent like Penei Sewell doesn't come along often. And at number 4, if he's there, you have to take him. He's a generational talent, and I'm not knocking Jake Matthews, but Penei Sewell can line up for the next 15 years. Still young, only 20 years old. This guy, man, he can wreak havoc in the trenches. He can play guard until Jake Matthews' contract is up. Kick him out, you have your franchise left tackle for at least 8 to 10 more years. So offensive line would probably be their pressing need, knowing that they will run the ball more under Arthur Smith.
How do you feel about Sewell in the passing game, his pass blocking? What impresses you with his pass blocking skills?
He's a brick, man. He's a brick house. If you want to tell me who he reminds me of, I would say Hall of Fame tackle Jonathan Ogden. Massive size, long arms. He's a bully in the trenches. So, passing blocking, it needs a little bit of improvement, but that's what your coaches are for. They will make him great. In the run game, he can open up a hole anywhere, pull, anything you need to do, screens. He's just that athletic. So there's nothing he can't do.
Let's transition to the quarterback position. Back to Matt Ryan. Let's talk about 65% completion percentage, over 4,500 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 11 picks. He'll be 36 years old in May. What do you think he could do to improve in the 2021-2022 season?
I would say it's not much. As I just said, offensive line was a major problem. Yes, he, turned into a statue at times because he's a pocket passing quarterback. But like I said, you get sued, that goes away. He gets better line help, better timing. And I think it is a lot had to do with Dirk Cutter's play calling. It left him in some kind of, bad situation, holding the ball too long, not making good reads. But if he gets into Arthur Smith's system, I think he can get more fluid, and that run game will help out a lot. We've seen Todd Gurley disappear the second half. Brian Hill, he was serviceable, but let's be honest, he's not an every down back. Ito Smith, third down back. So if they get an every down back in this draft or through free agency, I think that helps Matt Ryan a lot. Helps him, with short passing game. Helps him play action, no huddle, which he's, great at. So I think the play calling and what he would do with the play calling will ultimately tell how well he will be, going forward.
Absolutely. So with this Arthur Smith play calling and Penei Sewell, let's say they get him at number 4, do you believe this offense is good enough to take them to the playoffs?
No doubt. You have all-world wide receiver Julio Jones, who was hurt most of the second half last year, but I think he'll be back to 100%. Calvin Ridley, one of the best young receivers in the league. Hayden Hurst, who's an underrated tight end. So they have all the weapons that they need. They could get, another small receiver, in the draft. receiver that can like run screens and trick plays, sort of like a Tyreek Hill, a wide receiver with speed. But other than that, they have everything they need on offense. Just that running back to take the pressure off Matt Ryan. Anything else they have is fine.
Speaking of running back, let's talk about it. Gurley's production, he only had 100-yard game, 678 yards on the season. Let's Hill, 465 yards. Smith, 268 yards. Do you see any of these backs getting major playing time and being incorporated in Arthur Smith's system? Do you see Gurley coming back? How do you view that situation?
With Gurley, it's a toss-up. He said he wants to play for Atlanta, and I can understand why, because I think he'll be a little bit better in a run-heavy offense, zone blocking type offense with Arthur Smith will have. Brian Hill, I think, I don't see him returning. As a third down back, Ito Smith, he may hang on for at least one more year. But Quadri Allison, if he can perform like we think he can in training camp and catch Arthur Smith's eye, maybe he could get some carries in, because he's the type running back that Arthur Smith likes. Heavy running back, has nimble feet, has good speed for a running back, but he's a power back, and that's what Atlanta needs. So if he performs well in training camp, I can see him holding on at least another year or two if he can make the roster.
It's interesting you brought up Quadri Allison, because he was on Twitter today talking about he's in grind mode and he would be a lot better and people need to watch out for him. So it's interesting you brought him up. Free agency, is there any free agent backs you think they might bring in for some competition if even Todd Gurley comes back? Or do you think this will be a draft thing, maybe second, third, fourth round for the Falcons?
Well, one running back I like, and I did it on my YouTube page, and not a lot of people pay attention to him because of where he played. And that's Jamal Williams, running back from Green Bay. He was a decent back his first 3 seasons in the NFL. I think he could come in as a great backup running back that could wear down the defense in the second half, because he runs with power and he can also catch the ball out the backfield. So I think Jamal Williams, former Green Bay running back, I think he would be a good option for the Falcons, and probably at a low cost, which I said cap space is tight. But Jamal Williams would not cost a boatload of money. And I think he would be a serviceable running back, playing behind Aaron Jones in Green Bay. It reminds me of a situation like when Michael Turner was with Daniel Thomason in San Diego. So it's the same type of situation. So I think he's, a legit option for the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, let's talk about that fourth pick. Do you see the Falcons, first of all, staying with the fourth pick? And if you were Terry Fontenot, who would you pick with that fourth pick in the draft? We know they have a need at offensive line. They have a need at defensive line. Some people are going to say even cornerback, safety. There's a lot of the Atlanta people who even think quarterback, they need to build towards the future. If you're Terry Fontenot, what do you do with that fourth pick?
I'm going to be honest, and we've seen it in the Super Bowl, and I've said it before. Penei Sewell, generational talent. The Falcons have to get strong in the trenches. He's the key. If he can play guard until Jake Matthews, moves on, I think the Falcons have a win-win situation. Can't go wrong. But if they trade back, I can see them going a bevy of ways. I can see Michael Parsons, Patrick Surtain Jr. As safety. If they, no matter how far they trade back, I can see an edge rusher. I mean, they just have too many needs. So they trade back, I would not be mad. But at number 4, Penei Sewell would be my pick. Hands down, no question asked.
Appreciate it. That's Antoine Smitty Sports. Go follow him, sports blogger, Smitty Sports Machine. Check him out on the podcast on Spotify. Check him out on YouTube, Smitty Sports Machine. Loved your video on Patrick Peterson. I do think bringing him in will help out AJ Terrell. Yeah. Thank you for joining me, man. Also, Twitter. Can't forget about your Twitter handle, FatBoySlim_21. Thank you for joining me, man.
No problem, man. Anytime, nephew.